come up in just a second. All right. Hey, everybody. Super excited. I was just on here doing an interview with this wonderful lady, Caroline, and now you get double trouble. What's up, Jody? Thank you for coming on.
How are you?
Doing
Thank you, Jamie, for
great.
having me. I'm excited about this.
Same. Everybody has been asking, when is it happening? And here we are. So, you are in Detroit, Michigan, where it is about Antarctica weather, and I am in Georgia, and it feels like Antarctica to us. So,
Yeah, it's super cold. I think today the high was like 27. I think tomorrow I don't know, we're supposed to get some snow tomorrow afternoon for a few hours, maybe an inch or two, but then the roads get just real slippery, and I'm still learning to drive in it. So it's been a journey. The main thing about the driving, you just got to watch everybody around you. I try to keep my distance and then just um, almost like a bad apple. You always got that one guy out there just like the Daytona 500, but I just let them go around me.
absolutely. We're not in a rush today. We want to stay alive. Absolutely. Oh, we got Jennifer on here. What's up, Jen?
How you doing, Jen?
So we're doing I wanted to do a couple episodes spotlighting men who represent, the kingdom of God. There are few and far between of, men who walk in integrity. And so I just thank you for being a shining example of one of those men. And so really excited to kind of like hear your story and how you maneuver in this and all the awesome stuff you have going on.
So for me, Jamie, I tell you, man, my story is something crazy. It's an amazing story of just how God truly works and how God will meet you where you're at. Just a little bit of background about myself that anybody don't know. I grew up in Winter Garden, Florida, from a great family. My mom and dad are still married. I got one older brother named Jeff. I have a nephew. I have two amazing sons. I call them beautiful, but they're my boys, Hunter and Logan, 23 and 21. Just superb guys. Just growing up and trying to fellowship and get their niche in life. And for me, man, growing up, sports was a big thing for me. All I wanted to be was a professional athlete, play pro football. In my senior year, that stuff kind of got all taken away from me, man. I got injured really bad with my leg and got osteomyelitis in the bone and wound up having major surgeries on my leg. Didn't know if I'd ever play football again. And did a real rehabilitation on my leg. And then Lindenwood University out of St. Charles, Missouri, Coach Kratzer, who I still talk to this day, a very good mentor of mine, gave me a shot, man, and gave me a scholarship to play college football. And I truly enjoyed it. Got there and did exactly what most 18-year-olds do when they get there. Kind of off on your own, no guidance. Started messing with the drinking, the smoking pot. Wasn't into any type of drugs or anything yet. Came home, got with a good buddy of mine. He's gone now, Scotty, and got into the drug scene. When I came back from Lindenwood, I was really big and strong, lifted a lot of weights. And he told me one weekend, man, why don't you just ride with me? He had a limo. He bought a limo, and then we started riding around Florida. And I started seeing things and doing things. And I would never try drugs. Like I wouldn't do the drugs. I would take the white stuff and just kind of put it on my teeth. I would never inhale it. I wouldn't do things like that yet. And then about a year later, after seeing a lot of things and doing a lot of things, the first time I inhaled it, it was like a euphoric high that I had never felt before. And I say for like 20, 24 years of drinking and drugging and doing things in my life, I was always chasing that original high. And then I got into the money aspect of the drug dealing and doing things in my life. I was doing that for hard about a couple years, and in 1998, my parents had sat me down and said, "Son, you need to get out of here. You need to go back and play college football. You got a whole life ahead of you." And I did. I went up to up to Roberta, Georgia, and live with my great aunt and uncle, and trained for football to go to Valdosta State. And I got in trouble about a couple weeks before the season started, and that was a big debacle in my life again. And wound up coming home, getting back with Scotty and getting with some other people, and really started getting big in the drug game. My uncle was like, "Hey, nephew, I don't want to get you working for Florida Power, doing different things in my life to better myself." And I was into the fast money, and then it just took off from there. My life was unmanageable from the get go, from '99 to about 2001 or 2000, before I met my first wife. Um, I was not a good person. Many arrests. My arrest record and my stuff is just not ordinary normal. And I can tell you, I've never been arrested sober. And so I knew my problems way back then, but I would always mask them with more alcohol and more drugs. I was like a chameleon. I coached Little League. I coached Pop Warner. I did everything. I got a wife. We had baby boys. I was doing everything. And then when the sun went down, I was never home. I was out doing things I wasn't supposed to, and running drugs and doing things, and excuse me, making a lot of money doing it. And my life just became unmanageable. And in 2006, faced a lot of jail time. About 45 years in prison. When I got arrested, I had already had 7
Wow.
felonies, and I had just caught 7 more felonies. So my first offer was 45 years. And that was 2006. They came back about 4 or 5 months later and had knocked it down. My lawyer had got down to 17 years. And then my last offer at 9 months was 84 months, 7 years. And there, during that time, Jamie, I had got really close with God. I remember sitting there right after I had got my first offer of 45 years, because that's what I scored out to with 14 felonies, was 45 years. And I was thinking, I was 26, 27 years old. I was sitting there, and I remember looking over in that jail cell, and the only thing that's in a jail cell is what? A Bible. And I remember picking that Bible up, and I remember opening that Bible up, and that when I opened the Bible up, it went to Philippians 4:13. And to this
Mm,
day, I have it tatted on my arm since 2006. And everybody talks about Philippians 4:13 and all this stuff, and everything's going on. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. I had it pick and poked on me in the county jail. I've had it redone since then, but it's something that means something to me more than ever in my life, was that Bible verse, because I knew right then that he was speaking to me, and I just needed to follow the lead. I needed a leader. And so I did. I started really listening. I started doing Bible study. I started really standing up in the jail, in Orange County Jail, and being a leader and helping guys in the jail, and doing things. And I really I built a relationship. I didn't believe in the word religion. I built a relationship, how God seen me and how I seen him. And it really happened to me all in one. And so when my lawyer kept coming back to me saying, "Hey, you need to sign these 84 months to 7 years," I said, "I'm not signing it." He was like, "Jody, I mean, the judge can give you up to 45 years. That's what you score out. Like, I have got this thing down from 45, 17 to 8 years, 84 months. I need you to sign this." And I said, "I'm not going to sign it." He's like, "Why?" I said, "Because I believe in something greater than myself, and the only option I had, Jamie, was to plead to the judge." And Judge McDonald back there in 2006 and 7 was the violation of probation, violation of felony probation judge. And they were like, "Jody, he's given out over 1 million years." And I said, "It doesn't matter. I believe in something greater than myself." And I said, I don't want to sign a piece of paper not knowing that I have a better shot. Maybe I don't get that many years, or maybe I get 45. Well, God's going to give me exactly what I need to be a better
mm.
person,
That is some blind
because
faith right there.
super blind. And what's crazy is, this is how, when people ask me how my faith is so strong and how I know God is real, is because it happened in 2007. I pleaded to the judge. We went in front of the judge. They offered me 84 months. I told them, "No, I'm not signing." And when they sentenced me, he read about a 10-minute thing about how I'm a nuisance to the society. So there was about a good, I would say, I say 10 minutes, but it was probably a good 3 to 4 minutes of the judge reading like how bad of a person I was. And I was thinking to myself,
Wow.
why didn't I sign this paper? Well, what happened was I got 30 months DOC with 18 months felony probation. I got a little less than
Wow.
3 years. So I knew right then that God had his hand on that. I still needed to go away, for a lesson learned, right? And I did. I went away. I got my lesson learned. I did my time. I came home. When I was in prison, I got with an old school, and he told me, "Hey, Jody, once you meet God, don't leave God at that door when you walk out of prison." Well, Jamie, guess what I did on December 23rd, 2009? I remember getting on my knees, putting on them new jeans, them new shocks, that polo shirt, thinking, "Oh my gosh, I've made it out of this place. I'm going to do really well." And in that power of prayer that morning before I left the prison, Columbia Correctional Institute, Lake City, Florida, was amazing, man. I felt the heat. I felt the Holy Spirit hit me, and I knew I was going to do good. As soon as that gate opened and I walked out to my family, it was 9 months later. I was walking through my mom's kitchen. This is just a quick story for you guys so we can get into talking. When I was walking through my mom's kitchen, my mom stopped me. She said, "Take your glasses off." I always wore shades because I was high as hell. And I was only out 2 weeks and went right back in. And I couldn't find a job. So I went right back into doing what I knew I could do 2 weeks after I was out. My mom stopped me. She said, "Son, you're not doing right. You're doing this. I mean, you're acting crazy. What's going on?" And all I was thinking about was money. I was like, my money's strong. If my money's strong, life's good. And she said, "Take your shades off." And I remember taking my shades off. You know what I mean? She looked at me and she kind of slapped me in my jaw. She's like, "What is wrong with you? What is going on?" And I was like, "Nothing. Like, what are you talking about? Money, life is good." And she goes, "Can I ask you one question?" And I was, of course, I said, "Yes, ma'am," to this day at 47 years old with my mom. I was raised that way. I said, "Yes, ma'am." She goes, "When's the last time you prayed?" The last time I prayed was December 23rd, 2009 in that jail cell. And it was 9 months later. And it hit me. Well, I tell you guys, addiction, when it hit me, I started crying with my mom saying, "I'll do better, Mom. I promise you. I got to do better for my kids. I just got seeing my sons back in my life." And what was crazy is as soon as I did that, Jamie, I walked back out to my car. I had an old gold 300M. Nope, I had a Charger. I had a Charger sitting on rims. I had everything I ever wanted. I went back out to my car, opened my console, got an ounce of cocaine, and inhaled a big old stuff of cocaine after my mom just told me that that's the things of addiction that I was going through in my life. That's how I would cover that trauma that I thought my mom
Mhm.
was telling me that I felt was trauma, but that's just the power of addiction.
Right.
And I didn't slow down. I never slowed down for another 3 or 4 years. I even bought 18 wheelers and started a trucking company and doing things in my life. And what was crazy is in 2014, I got custody of Hunter and Logan. All right. And then when I got sold my rigs and stuff, I said, I need to be a father. Well, then the stuff that happened in my leg in 1994, 1995 came back in September of 2014. And I got custody of the boys in July of 2014. And from 2014 to July 28th of 2020, I had over 20 surgeries, 20 something pick lines in my arm, and spent almost a year in the hospital in those 6 years fighting to save my leg. In July 28th, 2020, I lost my leg, and losing my leg truly saved my life. I had a God shot in the hospital on my eighth, ninth day in the ICU. And that's what I tell folks, man, when people ask me and how I move so powerful. And when I walk in, they're like, "Man, Jody, you're a powerful presence. Swag, you got that presence." I'll walk in there like he sends me where I need to be at that time. And so when I tell people just what God has done in my life each and every day, it's not coincidence. It's not a joke. I mean, this is real life. This is what my story consists of. I've had God shots in my life since 2006 and 7 that when people hear it, they're like, "No way." And I said, I've had them and had them and had them and never grabbed a hold of them. You know why? Because I had to worry about what I did from my past. I had to worry from my anxiety. I made a TikTok the other day talking about this, that if you don't let go of all that anxiety and all that worry and that past trauma and all that, when God shows you your blessing, you vision it, you visualize it. I see it. I manifest what I want. But if I'm
Mhm.
carrying all the negative and stuff with me, I can't grab a hold of
Right.
and I'm a human being. And I tell people, listen, I turn around and pick that stuff up all the time. I turn around and say, "You know what, God, you ain't moving quick. I got it." And guess what? I within a couple hours or within 24 hours, guess what I'm doing? God, take this back. Yeah, I need you to take this back because it's blocking me from the blessings that I got leading in my life today. And when I tell you what God has done in my life, Jamie, as far as the people that's in my life, the organizations where I've spoken at all across the US and going to do things and like being on the Cheer Choice Awards this year, I was like, man, I don't even, you don't realize
Incredible.
how many people are watching you and things that you change because it's a lifestyle today for me. This isn't for clout. This isn't for recognition. I don't do this for notoriety. Notoriety. I do this for the sick and suffer. Because I remember when I was down and out by myself and I was at my lowest point in my life, I needed that one person. I just needed one person to believe in me. And I want to be that person for the people out in this world, and like when they always ask me, man, you're such an unbelievable person, man. And I said, this is not me. If I didn't have God in my life to soften my heart, to make me a genuine person, I'd either try to rob you, run you over, or take whatever you got. You know, Today
Mhm.
I'm just a different person. I am a good person. I know I'm genuine. Do I have haters? Yeah. I don't worry about anybody, what they say about me or anything, because I know pure in my heart what I do is real. It's not for money. If I got paid for everything I've ever done with this stuff, what's up, dog? I wouldn't have to work. You know how recovery is. I mean, there's a lot of stuff
Mhm.
going on in behind the scenes with this stuff. There's a lot of things that's going on in the world today, but I truly enjoy the lifestyle that I have today. I wake up and run to this lifestyle. I wake up to meditate. I wake up to pray because the first blessing, what Jamie's every morning, is to open those eyes. So you be thankful for that. There's a lot of people that have plans today that don't get to do that stuff. And each day that I wake up, I'm so grateful and so thankful, for my family, my friends, for you, for letting me come on here and share my story a little bit and talk about God and what God has done in my life and talk about these God shots. I call them God shots, like these God shots are absolutely amazing. And if people would just sit and listen and understand and look around and see what life really matters, there's God shots and just the beauty of what you got around you. Like you'll be like, man, wow, look at this. I look at life so much different now. I used to have so much hate and resentment in my life. Like I didn't like anyone. You know why? Because I didn't like the person I seen in the mirror. And when I
True.
finally realized that oh Jody is a good person, I was raised well. And then I look at what the hurt and the pain I caused my mom and dad. What about my sons? My sons didn't ask to be brought in this world 23 and 21 years ago. But the relationship that I have with my family, the relationship I have with my mom and dad, the relationship I have with my two boys, with my brother, with my sister-in-law, with my nephew, with everyone, is genuine. And that's the thing. When somebody calls my phone, almost 90% of the time, if I'm not doing one of these, I'm answering. And I don't have all
Mhm.
the answers, but I have a listening ear today. And that's the thing for me. Hey, man, if I can't figure it out, let's figure it out together. And that's why I like being a peer recovery coach because I don't have the answers, but hey, with what you got and the knowledge I have and the 53 months of sobriety, we can come up with a plan to try to get you on to the next person, you know, or get you on to the next day. And it's been an absolute journey of overcoming each and every day. I don't know if you've seen what happened this summer. I was in the hospital 29 days out of 100 this summer. I lost part of my good foot from osteomyelitis, came back in my good leg. Had a pick line in my arm for over 10 weeks this summer back in
Mm.
Orlando. And the devil tries, I tell people this, Jamie. I feel I'm so strong with my faith in God that sometimes the devil will go to God and say, hey, man, I'm going to wreck one of your people, you know, who you want me to wreck. And sometimes I feel God says, pick swag. I know he's going to stand up in the paint, you know. And the thing is I do I get down on myself? Yeah, but do I fight through? This summer I would make the live videos sitting there um on the edge of the hospital bed, being in there like day 10 or 11 and show, hey man, I'm fighting. This is what we got to do together. Like I need your help. I need you guys just as
Mhm.
well as you need me. I need you right now. So stand up. Hey man, power of prayer. I'm a prayer warrior. I totally believe in the power of prayer. One or more people pray for the same thing, it gets heard louder. I grew up Southern
Absolutely.
Baptist, man. So a lot of people don't understand. Granny used to say, "You going to heaven, you going to hell, grandson." I kind of scared you. It almost until I got older to realize that Granny wasn't playing around. And the coolest thing about my life today is just being a light in a dark world.
Mhm.
I don't have it figured out, Jamie. I don't have this figured out. But I want to learn each and every day that I have this life, that I breathe this fresh air, that God gives me what I know. He knows I need. When my life changed is when I started praying to God, give me what you know I need and not what I want.
Mm.
And guess what? I don't get everything I want, but hey, I got clothes, I got food, I got a car, I got the things I need for today only. And that's what people got to realize. They're like, oh man, I don't have money for Christmas. Christmas ain't even here yet. If you focus on
Mhm.
what we got to do when you wake up in the morning at 4:30, they're always like, why do you get up so early? I said, first of all, sometimes it's like a contest for me. If I get up at 3:30 in the morning and you get up at 5:30, I'm on a turtle's pace, right? You got to be like a rabbit all day to catch up with me. And guess what? You can't catch up 2 hours. It's impossible.
Right.
So if I'm up
Mhm.
2 hours before you and mentally say if I'm 53 months sober and you 53 months sober, right, Jamie? And I get up at 3:30 in the morning, you get up at 5:30. Well, I got 2 more hours of knowledge than you today. And that's
Mhm.
how I look at things. But it's not a contest. But that's me. That's what pushes me on to be the best coach I can be, the best friend I can be, the best, one day husband again, the one day, what I need, the best father I can be. I don't want to leave. I want to leave a legacy for my two boys to say, hey man, the old Jody when he was going through life and he was having a rough time, that old joker pushed. There was nothing that could stop him. Okay,
Mhm.
yeah, I am an amputee. I got one leg. Well, guess what? You can take the other leg because I'm gonna wheel up to that microphone in a wheelchair. No matter what, if you take my arms, I'm gonna have somebody push me up to the microphone. As long as we have this and have the voice, we can talk about God, and that's what I love the most, Amy, about repping the God, man. I rep the God hard. From the 407 to the to the three. What is it? 313 all the way up here, East Coast, West Coast. I love repping the God, man, and it's just been an
Mhm.
absolute amazing. I like to tell people I'm an OG to a PRC. You know, and I talk about it. I show my prison pictures, and I've had people say, "Oh, you show that because you're hard." I'm not showing that because I'm hard. I'm showing you what I just overcome in my life.
Right.
Now, can I get hood? Yeah, bro. I was that dude. I can get real hood. But at the same time, man, I don't want to. I pet that old kid in front of this down here. That old me is still inside of me. People got to realize that. That old
Mhm.
person that you was for 24 years when I was out stomping people and doing things that I don't like to talk about. Listen, it's still here, but I know how to comfort that dude because I don't want that person to come out. And then with all
Right.
the things that are going on with social media and different things, I can't let nobody bother me. It's like, man, I'm a changed person, and the thing is the devil works that way. The
Oh
devil's going to
yeah.
put those people and poke you. Hey, let's see what Jody's going to do. Hey, poke swag, and then what's scary is the ones that holler Jesus Christ. I'm a follower of Jesus Christ, and I do this, and it's like, man, it's scary to me for
Yeah.
somebody to live a double lifestyle, knowing they have a double lifestyle and wide up, see it wide up, wide open on social media and claim and hey, I'm Jesus Christ. I love Jesus Christ. I'm like, I gotta tell you what, and you know what I do? I pray so hard for them to understand that the hypocrisy in that is gonna get you, man. Like
Mm.
if you ain't a genuine person and you playing that hypocrisy type stuff, man, it's gonna turn around and come and get you. And that's the thing for me is when I first started all these journeys, when I went to recovery, like when I was sitting at AA, I hated AA, Jamie. They all the old people in there, oh, he drive drunk. And I'm thinking, man, you ever been whooped? Like I just wanted to whoop them old men, man. Say, hey,
Right.
man, oh, what do you think today? I said, man, this ain't nothing but everybody talk about a bunch of problems, but you know what? It saved my life. Those rooms saved my life, you know. I support AA. I support NA. I support any walk of recovery. If you got to smoke weed, whatever you do, that's you. I can't judge your recovery today. I can only judge you mine. And that's why being a peer recovery coach with the harm reduction, whatever you need to do to stay off the hardcore drugs, hey, you do it. But if you don't do it the way it's supposed to be taken, hey, that's on you, man. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I can only give you the insight. I can't talk about Suboxone, Sublocade, methadone. You know why? I've never taken it. So how can I have share experience, strength, and hope on that, Jamie, if I've never taken it? So what's it matter what swag thinks on it? It's my opinion. So that's why I don't give people my opinion on it, because you know why? They'll take a snippet of what I said and say, "Oh, this dude doesn't support people on methadone." I never said that. I tell you the
Right.
truth on this. I'll tell you the truth on this. I've never taken it, so I can't give you experience on it. I don't know it, but I can tell you the experience, things, I hope that's helped me, and that's the God. I can promise you that
Mm-hmm.
wholeheartedly. God has helped me through every battle I've ever had in my entire life and got me through every. You know why? How I can say that I'm 100% positive? Because I'm on you live tonight and I'm 47 years old and I'm sitting here on this live tonight. That's how I know I'm an overcomer. If I wasn't, my,
Mm-hmm.
my dad would be a number and y'all would be talking about a memory old swag. But I'm still here, so I'm an overcomer and I'm still an overcomer. And the one thing I'll tell you guys that I don't like to call myself an alcoholic or an addict anymore. And that's me. I don't want to manifest something in my life that's not true. I am a recovering alcoholic, a recovering addict. I don't want to say, hey, man, my name's Jody and I'm an alcoholic, because I ain't. I was, that's just me. That's my opinion on how I work. Now, if you want to say it, I respect anybody in every way possible in recovery. And that's no
Mm-hmm.
doubt. From kratom to weed, whatever. What does Jody do? Water, sweet tea, loves food, and love the gym. That's me. I don't,
Yeah.
when somebody asks me, I'm 100% clean and sober, and I rep that. Do I think I'm better than anyone? No, Jamie, I don't. Because at the end of the day, somebody else's sobriety may be different mine. Will I support them? You're damn right. I'll support them till the wheels fall off.
Mm-hmm, absolutely. And people, I always tell people, people's, recovery, it looks different, like different, as you go. You know what I mean? I had a surgery where I had to take pain pills. I could have never done that in my first 3, 4 years of recovery. You know what I mean? Like that came down in like my
Right.
fifth or sixth. It was 2022. So that was 2 years ago when I had to have like a full surgery. And I uh had Percocets, which was like my DOC, right? But I had a RAP plan, which is called a Wellness Recovery Action Plan. Um, and so in that, I had in the plan, if I got squirrely on the Percocets, I was going to take kratom, right? And so and had accountability and all that, you know what I'm saying? And you better believe I got squirrely on those Percocets. I found myself one day on Google search, how can I get Percocets from Canada? Right. And I was like,
Oh,
why 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 am I do? And I still had some. Still had a whole bottle. You know what I'm saying? But something clicked in that brain and that DOC. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, oh my goodness. So I had to stop taking them, and you know what I mean. Had to call somebody, be accountable. And I said, okay, we talked about this plan. We're going to step two. Here's the take the Percocets. I'm
all
going
right.
on the kratom. You know what I'm saying? And like people are, well, why would you go on the kratom? Well, wasn't that the better option? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I went on kratom for probably about 3 or 4 weeks, and then came off the kratom. And like and because I had like a major surgery where they had to like reattach my whole stomach and my ribs, like everything. So it was like a full. It was a cosmetic. It was a tummy tuck. It was a full tummy tuck. They cut me hip to hip, and my ribs were separated 2 inches, my stomach muscles. So they pulled everything together, and it was basically like my ribs were broken for like 3 weeks. It was the most terrible pain
Ooh.
I ever had in my life. It was probably about a 3 month recovery. like till I could,
Mm.
go for a walk outside. It was terrible. It was liposuction tummy tuck. I did the whole thing, but I lost
Wow.
100 pounds. So I lost 100 pounds in recovery. I never worked out in my life until my second year in recovery because I gained the what do you call it, the freshman 75. I don't know what you call it. And I was like
Yeah, I
real
get it.
insecure about
Oh
my
yeah.
weight, and I decided I want to do something different. I changed everything, right? When I came into recovery, like I didn't just change one thing. I changed everything, got into my Bible, got into health, got into fitness, changed my food, started taking out the bad things or whatever. And so, like, there's different stages of life, you know what I mean? And I also support like multiple pathways of recovery. I have people who are very successful in all their different pathways, and many different things, and especially in the harm reduction world, things that some people would think are insane, people, once your brain heals and you have like accountability, it's like you're like kind of basically like a normal person, right? Now, of course, you always
Right.
have to watch, right? Just like I had to watch on those Percocets, right? And had to have a plan. Hey, if something happens, if I start,
Oh, no doubt.
getting squirrely, if I'm Google searching on the internet buying pain pills from Canada, we need to do something, right? And you
Yeah.
shift and move, right? So I've seen a lot of amazing things and different pathways in people in recovery, and just so proud of people for having like boldness and courage to even like make that change, right? um and going into like the God thing, something I really want to that I okay, so this is what I run into a lot with people is they feel unworthy, like, of God's love, or they are in unbelief of how could a God, like if we're talking about Jesus, right, like lay down his life for me, or you know what I mean, like that's what they say, like it's like this unbelief because of unworthiness, which I believe comes from like false belief systems that we've grown up with, right? Like maybe people have told us our whole life we're not good enough, or they didn't want us, or we went through trauma, right? And then we think we're not deserving or worthy of God's love. So how did you break that barrier to accepting the love of God?
Um, Man, that's a cool question. I think how I broke the barrier and understand the love of God, for me was I grew up Southern Baptist, always knew God. I went to Christian school from first through fifth grade. I could really quote Bible verses when I was young. Um, I knew God, but to get to know God and the love of God, um, I want to say that it all broke down for me in AA. Like how you go through the first step, second step, third step, and you give it over to a power greater than yourself. And I think AA broke it open for me because I got to pick the God of my understanding. Picking the God of my understanding for me was huge because growing up Southern Baptist, it was scary for me to either think you was going to heaven or you was going to burn, you know. And so the way I took the outlook of my life, the way that when I got a sponsor, I understand, hey, your power, I have to believe in a power greater than myself. Um, well, one thing I didn't do was believe in myself, period. I never believed in myself. If it wasn't sports related, if it wasn't, I wasn't a good husband. Wasn't ever a good boyfriend. I wasn't a good father at the beginning. And so as I started to find my higher power and believe in God, for me was when I in 2020, I had made it about 105 days and got to that fourth step. That fourth step, I relapsed, and I was out another 100 days. Holding myself accountable, I couldn't do. Once I got to the fourth step, holding myself accountable, I couldn't do. Believing in a power greater than myself, I did it all as a kid, I knew God, but I was scared of the hell part, so I would kind of drift always away. I teeter-tottered. In times of need, I would reach out to God. When I didn't, when I thought life was good, Jamie, I didn't need God. I didn't need anything in my life because finances were good, everything was good. But anytime I was arrested, anytime that I couldn't get to where I needed to be, I would choose God. The thing for me is when I went to AA and got me a sponsor and started understanding, the relationship that I built with him, because they would talk religious and they would talk this and they would talk Buddhism and they would talk, they would talk spiritual. And then I would get with my life coach, who was a Buddhist, who was a chaplain, who was a doctrine, who was Dr. K. My life coach is absolutely one of the best people that I believe God put in my life 10 years ago in 2014 when I first got my first DUI and started really working on me, working on my inner self, but getting spiritual. I started learning to meditate back then, and I loved in meditation. Once I would get through my DUI classes, my courses for 4, 5, 6 months, I would get right out of those and go what? Right back to the same lifestyle. The last time I got my DUI in May of 2020, I really hit rock bottom. That was rock bottom. It was a month before I went into the hospital. Oh yeah, buddy Jeremy said, as an authoritarian figure whose sole purpose was to make lives of his creation the hardest he could. And man, I tell you what, Jeremy, that hits home because, oh, God gives his hardest battles to his hardest soldiers, and things like that. And the thing is we go through all these trials and tribulations and things in life to seek him. A lot of people say, well, why would he do this to us? It's not that he's doing it to us, we're doing it to ourselves. You know, I know a lot of people, I wish my story, Jeremy, was I fell off a bar stool. One bar stool, one stupid little thing and got my life right. But I chose a 24-year path. And guess what? Every time that I was at my lowest point and I looked up and said, hey, guess who was standing there? God. I said, hey, you ready now? I've been waiting on you for
Mhm.
24 years, but I knew it would take all this for you to understand. He didn't take my life. I lost a limb, a whole limb. The trauma of losing my leg in that hospital, facing death as many times as I've faced death, and realizing when he spoke to me on that eighth and ninth day in recovery in ICU, I was praying, see the light. I was 20 years old. My granny told me, hey, Jody, I know you're not doing right, but hey, if you ever get shot, you ever get in a car wreck, you ever see the light, go to the light. The light is God. God is calling you home, grandson. I said, oh, yeah. Well, I was 42, 43 years old in ICU, and I was praying. They would come in, the nurse would say, what are you talking about? I said, man, I'm looking for the light. They're like, what light? I said, man, I'm ready to go home. I'm suffering. I'm on ICU. They kept wanting to intubate me. I told them, nah, I'm not signing it. They're like, why, man? And you need to rest. I said, I need to feel this pain. I said, first of all, you ain't putting a tube in my throat. And second of all, I know God's going to show me the light. When he shows me the light, I'm going home. I'm tired of suffering. I was feces on myself. I was urinating on myself. They couldn't tell me if I would live or not. And I said, you know what? I'm suffering enough right now. And then I thought, all the pain I caused to people, all the harm I caused to people, all the physical harm I caused to people, this is karma. This is karma. I'm getting back everything I put in life, right? So they say you get in life what you put in life. Well, I've heard of many people in my life, Jamie, physically, mentally, financially, my family, my kids. I've done things in my life that I can't even say on this app. Uh, I was getting it back. Coincidence, right? Oh, you're getting karma, Jody. Everything you've done in your life. My best friend, Shelly Hall. she'll probably see this. She knows, everyone knows my story. This is one of the God shots I love to share when I go speak at groups and I go speak at homes. I always tell them this. She woke up that morning and said God had put a song on her heart. She wanted to send it to me. She said she waited a couple hours and wound up sending it to me about 7 a.m. in the morning. I was sitting there with my nurse that morning. And for fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth day, I probably told them people and the nurses and doctors who were coming in out of my room, because it was during COVID. My family couldn't come visit me, nothing. And that was the time
Wow.
I was thinking to myself that if I could get the old pew pew up here, my life was done. Right? Nobody could come see me, so that wasn't going to happen. So I was feeling all this pain. I was feeling all this suffering. And I was telling God, I want to see the light, God. So let me go to sleep. Show me the light. I'll come home. You'll take me home. My kids will be better without me. My family will be better without me. I'm suffering. Well, my best friend woke up, said God had put it on her heart to send a song to me. Well, once my nurse finally got, after an hour of my phone going bing, bing, bing every 3 minutes, and an Apple phone don't bing every 3 minutes. This was God sending a message over and over and over to saying,
For
Jody, I need
sure.
you to listen to this. I need to talk to you. Here, I'm not going to talk to you physically, and I'm not going to talk out loud where I can see you, but here's a God shot I want you to follow.
Mm-hmm.
When I opened that song up, when I opened that my phone up, and the nurse says, Jody, she's trying to send you a song. You want to hear the song? I said, dude, are you kidding me right now? What song in this world do I need to hear that's going to stop me from feeling like this? Well, I had been praying for 4 days and asking God to show me the light. See me the light. Where's the light? I need to see the light. You know the title of the song, Jamie?
Hmm.
Was I See the Light by Toby Mac. That was the
Come
song she had sent me.
on.
Come on.
Come on.
Come on.
Wow.
That was the song that she had sent me, that God had put on her heart to send me that morning. That was a song that she said I
Uh,
needed, and she finally sent it. And Jamie, when I heard that, I just started profusely crying, and I was telling my nurse, God's talking to me right now. He's telling me that my light is still here on this earth.
yes.
My light
Yes.
is still here. So another one. Oh, another God shot. God's talking to you, Jody. Nay, now do you want to understand God? I made a pact that morning. I made a pact that morning in ICU and said, God, I know you're talking to me. I will live for you the rest of my days if you get me through this. And guess what? I am 53 months sober. I lost my leg July 28th of 2020. I went into the hospital June 22nd, 2020. It's on my arm right here. It's on my thumb right here. There's my sober date right there. 6/22/20. I've been sober ever since and walk with him ever since, being a light in the dark world, Jamie. That's how God works for me. I've had God shots my whole life. In the old school, when I was in prison, I walked the yard. He said, Jody, sometimes I see you walk the fence. I said, what do you mean, old school? He says, you teeter totter on that fence sometimes. Either you're on God's side or you're on the bad side. There's two choices. You can't walk a straddle fence and sit down without hurting your what, boy?
Mm,
And I said, you know what? You're absolutely right. You either walk with God or you walk with the devil. There's two choices that we have. You're either a true believer or you're a hypocrite that uses Jesus Christ's name. And I won't never be a hypocrite. Now, do I sin? I'm a human being. Yeah, I
right.
sin. I don't live a
Right.
perfect life. But guess what? I know how to ask for forgiveness today. Every morning I wake up, God say, hey, forgive me for my sins that I sinned yesterday. Hey, do I curse? I'm a country boy. Yeah, I curse. I call Jesus my homeboy. Yeah, there's some things that I probably wouldn't say to my granny and granddad, but that's just how I am. Like
He
if I sat
loves
down,
that.
yeah, but God knows my pure intentions today is to be, I want this when I die. Am I scared of death? No, Jamie, I'm not scared to die. I want this. Well, job well done, faithful servant. That's what my goal is. And guess what? Even if it's the last seat down there, I made it. And guess what?
Right.
I'll finagle my way right beside him. I'll because I want to live that lifestyle of being pure and being genuine and giving us that have lived a life of misery. My life was miserable for years. And today, I get to shine a light and help others relight their flame. And it's an absolute joy when people call me or I get a shout out, man, Jody, thanks for saving my life. Listen, buddy, I didn't save your life. He did.
Mhm.
I will take no glory from God. A lot of people say, man, you help a lot of people, Swag. You do this, you do that. I'm about to get emotional a little bit because sometimes the Holy Spirit hits me at the weirdest times. And I tell people I cry all the time, man. Like and I'm not embarrassed to. They're like, what are you crying for? I said, man, they're just happy tears. I don't know why
Right.
I'm crying right now, bro. I can't understand some things when I don't understand them, but I feel it. I feel the heat. I feel the comfort in my heart today of overcoming drugs and alcohol. And I love to share that stuff with people. A lot of people, I haven't done a podcast in a while. I haven't done things in a while. And it's not because I don't want to. It's, I have to sometimes, like last week, I was supposed to be on Manny's podcast. I had to go work. I had things come up. And if things would have came up, hey, the opportunity was here tonight. And guess what? I'm on this live. When things come up and I have to go and I have to financially support myself to pay my bills, I have to go work. When things happened last week, and then I'll get back with Manny and I'll get with him and I'll get back on the show and I'll start doing things. I'm supposed to be in New York this weekend with Jared, on a music video. I'm on my first rap album with him. I
Nice.
got some things going on. A lot of people are like, damn, Swag, you're doing it, and I was like, hey man, why not? Why not go do these things? Why not be in a video? Why not throw a couple verses in a rap song? I love to write poetry. That's all it is
Yeah,
to me is poetry,
for sure.
and then put it in the old swaggy voice, and it's cool. It's spreading love. It's spreading joy. I don't speak negative on anyone's name anymore in my life. I want people to, am I a human being and want to? Yeah, I want to, especially if I feel someone out. It's not for me to think they're calling me out. That's just the devil trying to work on me. I know how
Mhm.
I go to sleep at night with a peaceful heart. And then if I feel like someone's got on my nerves, I say, God, will you take that from me? I don't want to feel like that about that person, but I see what they're doing and it's not right. But at the same time, it's not for me to call anyone out anymore,
Right.
because guess what? That's brought me a lot of heartache, and I've had to fight and I've had to do negative things. And it's not for me to call you out. The light always comes to through the shadow of the
100.
darkness, you know. So anything that somebody thinks they're doing and they're going to get away with it, let me tell you, Bubba, it's being seen not from us, but from the godly figure of Jesus Christ, and He sees exactly what you're doing, and the thing is I'm not calling you out, man. You call yourself out. The thing is I don't have to say, hey man, you're doing wrong. You're doing wrong. All I want to do today, man, like for you, Jamie, is I'm honored to be on your show, by the way, and I'm grateful for you letting me share my story and testimony, and people know that I'm a genuine person, and that's what matters. I got two sons that I need to raise, that I want them to see that, hey man, whatever my daddy's facing, he's overcome. I got some really wild news tonight about a job opportunity that I did not get that I thought I had in the bag, but got, you know what? Yeah, for about an hour today, I was like, damn, you know, I feel like I was led to the water and I needed to drink and I did everything. And then I got the email saying, hey, they're going a different way. And then for an hour, I was down on myself. But you know what? Like my son and son's called and said, guess what, Dad? That door closes. There's got to be something better for you. And they're
Yes.
right. I can't shut the doors of recovery because of one job opportunity. There's 1,000 of them out here. And so
Mhm.
I did get down on myself for an hour today and was like, man, what I'm going to do. And I said, you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to keep pushing to be a better person. I'm going to get back on Indeed and I'm going to look at these other job opportunities that I had kind of shut the door on because this was the one I wanted. And I wanted it more, Jamie. I'll be honest with you guys, because it paid the most. It paid the most. It had the most financial dividends I've ever made in recovery. Well, guess what, fam? It ain't always about money.
Mm-mm.
Exactly, Elena. It is. It's not always about financial gains. And guess what? Being an ex-drug dealer, guess what I want the most, guys? Financial gains. I'm always looking for financial gains. And guess what? You live a life in recovery, fam. It's not about financial gains. It's about helping the next person in line. So guess what? Today I got my little bubble busted. I ate me some humble pie, fam. I ate me some humble pie. And guess what? Maybe I need to start back over and do the support staff and do the things at 15, 16, 18 bucks an hour. I was looking at the financial gains, and God said, hold on, bud. I got something for you. It may not be as financially strong as you want, but it'll be this. And that's what I need to be. I'm still an ex-drug dealer, and I still want the financial dividends of life. But guess what, fam? It's not always about the bigger paycheck. It's about who you
Right.
can help on the way. So
For sure.
I got humbled today, and I needed that humble pie. I did.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's definitely not, always about money. I mean, like I have three jobs. I work three jobs, and then I do outreach, and I do this. It's very keep myself very busy. And like my favorite job that I have is I teach at the massage school, and I love that job, and it is my it's not a high paying job, you know what I mean, being a teacher.
Right.
But being able to like impart like to those young kids. I have one student, actually he was an ex youth pastor who like just heard me talking about like different things that I was doing, like not even preaching, just talking about what was going on. And I saw him one night at a Friday night worship service, and then he texted me and told me he rededicated his life to Jesus the next weekend. And I'm just like, wow, like that was, you know what I'm saying, like just because I was like there and just happened to be talking about whatever we were doing in the homeless community that weekend or something. You know what I'm saying? Like no, not even preaching, not even trying. And it's like that's how God does, and He puts you in places. And let me tell you, like that, the harvest of that soul, of that salvation, is worth more than any money that you can make on this planet.
Oh yeah. No doubt. That's what I said. So a lot of times, for me, uh, it is the power of thinking about financial gains. A lot of people want to say, hey man, I'm going to do this in recovery, I'm going to do this, or they're going to get some type of financial backing off of it. Well, let me explain something to you guys. I have went and spoken all over the United States. I've been offered to do this, I've done this. Have I been blessed when I've done some of these things? Yes, man. The power of God has went there. Some of these people have handed me an envelope after I'm done speaking, and it's been absolutely amazing. I signed my first contract this summer, because I'm certified motivational speaker, I'm a certified chaplain, and I'm a certified peer recovery coach. I worked very hard in 53 months to get these titles. You know, to have the certification of motivational speaking means that I can be paid to go speak at events, right? Well, this summer, a lot of you guys know I had one crazy summer this summer. And then in September 14th, the weekend of September 13th, 14th, 15th, I flew out to Colorado Springs with Vance Johnson from the Denver Broncos, had that event out there, and that was my first signed contracted speaking engagement because I'm certified,
Yes.
because for 30 minutes, for an hour. And I needed that so bad this summer. I had done spent 29 days in the hospital, had the PICC lines in my arm. I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to fulfill my contract because I had a double PICC line in my arms. And if people know PICC lines, the PICC lines go to your heart. And I had a
Hmm.
midline in one arm that went into my body so that this medicine, I didn't wind up losing my right leg. I went to the doctor on a Thursday that morning at 10 a.m. My flight was Friday night. I never said anything to anyone. I went to my doctor that Thursday morning and sit down with Dr. Luttrell, my foot doctor, and the ones that did the surgery when he amputated the whole right side of my foot off. I had 37 stitches, 19 staples, all in the right side of my foot, And when I went there that next morning, that Thursday morning. I said, Doc, I just want to tell you what I got going on. I said, I'm supposed to be flying out of town tomorrow to do a gig in Colorado Springs to speak. I said, but if you don't want me to go, I won't go. And he said, Jody, I would never stop you from going, but here's what we got to do. And I was so excited because I had just fought for my life again in the hospital, 29 days, all this stuff, pick lines. He said, hey, we'll get the pick line out for you, so that you can travel. And I definitely want you to go to Colorado Springs and share. And I just remember
Yeah.
crying in his office, thinking, God, man, you're so powerful. I have such a powerful story, but now I have another story to add to my repertoire when I speak. And I remember standing out there Saturday morning, as they were getting this event ready, and the mountains, Pikes Peak was in the background, and I just remember standing there crying. And I remember a couple of people come up and said, "Man, you good?" And I said, "Man, you don't even have a clue of what I've been through the last 90 days
Mm,
to be standing here looking at God's beauty, knowing that here at 1 o'clock, 1:30, I walk on stage to share my story, my powerful story of what God has done for me." And guess what, man? I wasn't thinking, but man, the financial gain that I needed, that I received once I walked off that stage, and what's crazy is that check I have right here and with me in my room. I rent a room from a guy up here in Detroit, and I look at it sometimes and be like, wow, I needed that financial gain to help me pay for things in my life. It was something that I look like I worked 4 hard years to get a signed contract, and it was my first. And what I got, man, I got it set up because to me that was God saying, "Hey, your hard work is going to start to pay off." Because my goals in life is to be a certified motivational speaker, where I get to do this full time.
mhm.
I don't. We don't get paid to jump on these lives. We don't get
Oh,
paid.
yeah.
I do. People ask me, "You get paid off social media?" Yeah, I make a little money off social media, but I put in the time. People don't understand. Like I take classes, I do things like to be a certified in these things take a lot of your time, and to talk recovery and to go to have a job in recovery to make 40, $50,000 a year. That's my goals. People ask me, well, my goals in life is to be like Eric Thomas and Inky Johnson, to be able to have these events where, hey man, I talk about God, but then hey, I can get into the motivational side. A lot of people call me like a coach. I coach like a football coach.
Mhm.
I get loud. I'm very loud. Like sometimes I'm scary. The thing is I was brought up that if I'm on your ass, man, the reason I'm on your ass is because I see something in you you don't see in yourself. And I
Mm,
needed to be pushed. I needed that extra, because at the end of the day, when I walk up and I put my arm around you and say, hey man, I see something you don't. I love you, buddy. Keep doing good. They understand my coaching style. They understand my motivational style. They understand that I'm only doing this, man, because I want you to overcome exactly how I overcome. And that's how I coach today, Jamie. Is I'm really loud. I'm boisterous. And then at the end of when I worked at Meridian, the guys will come up to me and say, "Damn, Swag, you got away with words." And I said, "Man, God's got away with words. God uses me to get to you. I didn't save your life, man. You're doing the work, but God's gonna save us all if we allow Him. And that I remember that time. I've had those shots in my life where when I've looked up, and I'm like that, and God's like, "Hey, I'm right here with you. You ready?" And I said, "Yes, sir, I'm ready." And that was July 28th of 2020 when I lost my leg. And I'll never forget the God moments I've had in ICU. I'll never forget the God moments I've had this summer. I'll never forget that picture perfect of Pikes Peak looking at me that morning, standing there thinking, man, in 4 hours, I'm going to walk on this stage and be able to share my story and get paid to do it. My first signed contract. Man, I've come a long way in life, Jamie. And I'm
it's
very proud of those
amazing.
moments. I'll take those moments to my grave. And the one thing I'll tell people that's listening too is if somebody calls you and they tell you a little bit of dark, deep, dark circles about it, make sure you go to the grave with those secrets, okay? Because people call me all the time and like, man, you're very trustworthy, and you need to be trustworthy to be a good peer recovery coach. You need to be trustworthy to be the person that I am, because I am told a lot of secrets. I don't pick up the phone and say, man, I know something you don't know. And I used to be
Mhm.
that person. I would start a fire of shit about somebody else. You know why, Jamie? To keep that heat off of me, because guess what? I'm coming in your back door later. I'm gonna have you robbed. I'm gonna have you, I'd be the one to sell you drugs and then have my boys go in and rob you back.
Mm,
But today I live a story. It's not a like a fake story. My story today is something that's real, raw, and rugged. And I love my story. Like I love being um, I just love who I am today. I'm genuine. I love to say I love you. I love you, Jamie. I love you, whoever I'm talking to. I love you, because I don't know if I'm going to go to sleep tonight and God says, you know what, Jody, your job here on earth is done, and I'm ready for you to come home and sit with me. So that's why I say I love you. A lot of people say, man, you say I love you. Do you mean it? I said, I mean it every time. I call my kids out of
mhm.
the blue, say, hey, they're like, what? And I said, I just want to call and tell you I love you. And they're like, are you crying? I said, hell yeah, I cry. I just want you to know I love you and I'm proud of you. And I just want you to be that person that like your pop wants you to be, and understand life. I call my mom all the time and tell her I'm a mama's boy. I call my dad. I got a dog, Apollo. I got a pit that's down there in Florida that I absolutely miss, because a lot of people, my mom will say, you talk to him like a person. I said, Mom, when I was going through all this stuff, I've been, Apollo just turned 5 years old in April. And my sobriety for 5 years is not till June of next year. So I had Apollo the whole time in recovery. I would talk to Apollo, my dog, my pit, my 100-pound pit, and I swear he would understand everything I was saying to him. And everyone's like, dude, you talk to him like a person. I said, because he was there for me in my darkest of times, when I didn't have a person, I would look down and he would
Right.
sit there with his droopy eyes. And I said, buddy, you good? He'd say, and it's like he would stand in the paint with me. When I go for walks, he'd walk with me. When I would cry, he would sit there and put his head on me. And I'd look down, and I swear I see a tear in his face, you know? And that's the connection that God has given me in this old crazy world. And I'm very blessed of who I am today, Jamie. It's been an absolute, journey to say the least, but I'm ready for whatever God's got in front of me. And whenever God's ready to call me home, like I tell the boys, remember what I've been through, remember the things, because now I'm going to go on to that eternity life. Now I can kick this old prosthetic off. I don't have to worry about putting it on in the morning. I can run again. Then I'll get to laugh. And they're like, Dad, you're crazy. I said, dude, you know what? If I kick my leg off and I jump in a swimming pool right now, I swim in a circle. And then we just get to laugh, and I laugh about the godly, or the body that I have here on earth, because this thing's been beat up, bruised. I had a colon resection in 2009 when I was in prison. I'm missing limbs. I'm missing. I ain't got 4 toes on my good foot. They amputated half the side of my good foot, so I'm down to 4 toes. I got my hands. They've been through it. I've had carpal tunnel surgery. I've been through it all. But at the end of the
Mhm.
day, God says, Jody, man, you are going to have a seat up here with me. And that's all I ever want to hear is well job done, you faithful servant. That's it. That's all I want to hear. And
Praise
I'm on that
God.
way, Jamie. We're on that way, girl. That's
I
why
know.
and I seen you was in North Carolina too. I got to work that for a few weeks, and meet some amazing people and see that destruction in life. And I was just like, wow, we take a lot of things for granted. I've seen the 18 wheelers with the bodies in them behind the
Mhm.
hospitals with people that they couldn't identify. Um, I smelled the smell in Swananoa Valley when I was there working, and I was just
Mhm.
like, wow, man, these people lost everything, and here I am being selfish about life. I'll never be selfish about life. Like if I go somewhere and I'm eating and I see someone hungry, I'll buy them food, or I'll say, hey, I'll split my meal with you. How about that? That's why a lot of times I
Mhm.
get a 2 cheeseburger meal from McDonald's, and everybody's like, "Why?" I said, "Because I usually give one of the cheeseburgers away. It's not much, but somebody's going to eat with me." I've been very blessed financially in my life. I've got a lot of things in my life. Am I rich? I'm not rich at all. I'm rich with life, so that's the difference. Once I took the
Absolutely.
word rich, because I had to have the big cars and the big chains and the big diamonds, and I changed that to the word when I'm rich with life and understanding what the word rich truly meant. That's when I started living with a smile on my face all the time. Like if you can go back and you can look at my pictures, you can see I smile a lot today, man, because there is a lot to be so grateful for today.
Mhm.
And it's just a blessing that how far I've come in life, like you always seen pictures like if I take them off, I can do it. You see, I walked around like that all the time. That's why I have that look. I had a distinct look of fu, and today I don't, man. I smile a lot, and I'm very grateful a lot. And I tell people, man, the attitude of gratitude, and I talk to strangers a lot, and I love, you know, um, giving hope and hugs is what it's called. Just being an uplifting spirit. Like when you're in a store and I can tell somebody's going through it, and I say, hey, I don't know what you're going through, but I just want to tell you, man, it's not going to be into the world, and if you believe in God, and a lot of it's a conversation starter. And the next thing I know, they're saying, man, that you won't even know, man, my mom and my dad just passed away last week, and I'm really going through it hard. I don't know how I'm going to do this and do that. And I'll give them my card and I say, hey, man, I call me. I'll answer and talk to you. And a lot of times they'll say, man, Swag, you're such the coolest dude, man. And I said, why? They said, because you always answer your phone. And I said, man, it's not that I answer my phone. It's that I want to have a conversation too with you.
Right.
I learn a lot from these conversations, Jamie. I learn a lot from just being a listening ear. And somebody will say, man, I called Talk to Whole Swag for an hour last night. And the only thing that I had to do was push the green button to answer the phone. I didn't even say nothing. They're like, man, thank you so much for listening to me, Swag, tonight. Man, you're an amazing human being. I said, thank you, God, for letting me be the light that they needed tonight. And all I did was listen. I didn't even say
Mhm.
anything. Just listen to them. And I'll say, hey, you know what? You're gonna be okay. You're gonna get through this. I got a buddy right now that's fighting. He has osteomyelitis in his back and it's fine. And he'll call me or text me in the morning and, hey, buddy, how you doing? I said, man, I've been praying for you. How's it going? He said, man, I just want to tell you thank you so much for being who you are with me. And those messages give me the fire to love God more because I know
Mhm.
they're God shots. I know what I'm supposed to be doing and what they call life today. And I'm just blessed at where I am in life today, and I love it. Yep, I'm more whole now, Elena, than I've ever been. I'm missing more limbs than I've ever been, but this is a worldly body. I'm going to get that pure 100%. I can't wait to know that when I'm called home, that I don't never have to worry about putting a prosthetic on again, and all that. So
Mhm.
we're just kind of moving through life, like an old ping
Right.
pong and a ball, just kind of bouncing around. But I know what my faith game is very strong. My gratitude game is strong. I'm grateful. I'm thankful. And I say I love you guys all the time because I do love you guys. I do love you, Jamie. And I do love my kids. I love everybody. I love my friends, and the most of all, I love God. I will rep God to my last breath.
Yep. Yep. And we have to stay in gratitude and gratitude and forgiveness. I mean, those are like the two things, walking in gratitude, walking in forgiveness. I started a forgiveness challenge. This was interesting. I just want to like tell anybody who may be struggling with unforgiveness to try this. And I did it for 5 weeks. And I'm going to tell you that like some of the most incredible supernatural things happened in like relationships where with people one I hadn't talked to in a really long time just randomly came and like told me they were sorry. Like all I had been doing was was praying for like 4 weeks, like for forgiveness for them, and I hadn't talked to them in like over a year or something. And they like called me and told me like, and they repented to me. They repented to me. It was so I was like, what? It's so crazy. And then this other thing happened with like my mom and like because we were. Uh, I'm not going to get into it on here or whatever, but you know what I mean. Like something happened that just would never have happened before. You know what I mean? And it was just like, wow. I mean, it's just amazing. So, forgiveness challenge, I did it for 5 weeks every single day. Like, not only did I just like say like, okay, God, I want to forgive this person. I'm taking out roots of bitterness. I'm choosing to forgive them. Also, I want you to forgive them, God. And also, I want to bless them abundantly. Like, and by like, and it started there. And then by like the third and fourth week, I was literally doing like spiritual warfare on their behalf, you know, on my enemies. Okay. Like for my enemies, like going down their generational
That's so
bloodline,
cool.
canceling out
Right.
altars, right? Like, and I'm just going after like all this stuff because I saw like God supernaturally moving in my life when like these things happened. And I just like, and the one person that called me, you know, I thought hell would have froze over before I ever got a apology from that from that person. You know what I mean? We hadn't talked for like 2 years, hadn't heard nothing. It's so weird. So it's just amazing the way, you know, and even my mom to be, you know, for her heart to soften and show me some favor and grace was beautiful. So it's a wild supernatural thing. So I want to just suggest like anybody try that. um what does he say? What? Okay, Noodle Baker, what did you want me to tell him? David, he was loyal. David refused to give up. Wait, I'm reading backwards. Mephibosheth was tested later after Absalom rose up. Loyalty tested in that would not change his garments. He's talking about what book is it in? Vengeance upon Saul's descendants. And because he was loyal, David refused to give up. It must be in Kings. Yes, Kings. So in the book of he's saying you remind him of one of the kings in Book of Kings. Um, oh, I know what you're talking about. You're talking about Saul and David. Okay, I know what he's talking about. He's talking about being like loyal to like authority and to God. I don't know if you've ever read that before in the book of in Kings. I think it's First Kings or maybe it's Second Kings. But Brianna, you guys are distracting me from
That'd be
work.
cool. I can look it up.
Yeah, for
Tell
sure.
Brianna she's keeping Jared straight over there.
Yes, my favorite soon to be husband and wife.
All right.
Yeah, absolutely. Might be Samuel 9. Yeah, I've been in the Old Testament for the last couple months actually. It's been pretty wild. I've never understood the Old Testament before, but then like something has happened like in the last 6 months, and I just can't get out of it. Like I just am like obsessed with the Old Testament. It's so weird. I don't know what's going on. And his energy is as calming as it is on screen. Jared's at home keeping the bed warm.
They're so awesome, man. Brianna and yeah,
Yes.
I got to meet them last well this year. They got to come to Detroit, man, and such a awesome to meet them in person, man. Meeting the family in person is just an amazing thing for me, you know. And everyone always says that, man. I'm the same person on and off the camera. Like I don't put on a show.
Mhm.
It's not for me to judge anyone, but it's just a common effect that I have that to be a real and genuine person no matter where I go. And in this world, I was raised that way. I don't have to be anybody um that I'm not supposed to be. Like
Right.
I love to be the real genuine person that God has brought me to be. I love saying yes, ma'am, no, sir, no, sir. That's how I am. I get in trouble all the time up here in Detroit because a lot of people take it as I'm calling them old by saying yes, sir, no, sir. I say soda, they say pop up here. I
Right.
say cuz and y'all and hello and I got my own little lingo because I am from the South. I'm sure you know
Mhm.
it more, Damien, because of being from Georgia. They say I talk slow. They say I got a country twang, but the coolest thing is God's planted me up here, right where He knows I need to be, and that's where I'm going to be for now. And then the thing is that if I ever need to pick up and go, that I feel if God talks to me, I do. So when God tells me, hey, I need to go here, I need to go there, I'm very intuitive about my life. And so my kids are at the age now that I can kind of move around and bounce around and do the things I want to do with my life. And it's just been an amazing adventure so far, you know, um, getting out here sharing God's grace and working in Detroit and doing things. And I'm just excited about the future too, you know.
Right.
So I just kind of keep moving forward and just doing what I need to do to be the best person I can be. Damn, you up here in Chicago? Got to get up, man.
Mhm.
That's I got a Chicago. Y'all know Johnny from
I
Chicago
seen
Hope
that at
Dealers.
Chicago Hope Dealer. Yeah, Jen
Yeah,
always talks very highly about them.
yeah, man. They're awesome, man. Johnny and his
I
wife, man,
I
they're
want
great.
one
I
of
met them
those.
last year. Yeah, they're very comfortable, man. So it says it on the back of it. Yeah, I did a little picture taken this morning, sent it to Johnny. Said, "Hey, man, I'm repping your." Oh yeah, because I'm swaggy. So my shoes, I got my shoes and everything to match. Come on.
Nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah. But man, I've enjoyed this, man. We got to do this more often. And yeah, Johnny and Myra are awesome, man. Johnny's
I need to
got his
meet them.
yeah. I went to a couple events last year in Indiana and got to meet Johnny. That's where I picked up the stuff, man. Him and Rare Breed and Kalichi and Joe Nestor and all my boys, man. The rap gods of them. So these events up here up north are superb, man. So like I said, you guys, if y'all get down to Orlando this April 12th, I'm having a Sober Swaggy Be the Change event. I'm having some artists come in. Jared's rapping. Got some of my buddies from the NFL coming in speaking about mental health. I have a mental health doctor. We have my buddy John Bacon's down there in Ocoee. He's
You
getting
said
everything lined up for us.
in Orlando.
Yeah,
I am going to be in Orlando April 12th. I'm going on a cruise with my mom and my daughter the 5th to the 12th. I'll be getting off the boat at Port Canaveral on the 12th.
the 12th. So y'all, you will come in that morning. My event starts 11. I'm in at
Yeah.
11 or 10.
Yeah.
So
I'll
y'all
be
come
getting
in at
off the
like
boat at like
7:30 in
8.
the morning.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's only 1 hour from Coco, from the Cape. So and
Yeah.
it's going to 5. Our events from 10 to 5. So that'll be awesome.
Yeah.
So I
We'll
expect to
do
see
it.
you
We'll
there.
do it. I'll have to figure out how I'm going to get I'll send my luggage back with my mom and then maybe I'll fly
No,
home
we'll
or
figure it
something.
out. Like I said, man, even if we got to come over that morning and get you guys, because I we don't we yeah, it's everybody can meet. So I'll make it
Yes.
happen. I'll make sure y'all guys get picked up, or you get picked up, or your family gets picked up. We'll make sure it happens because I'm coming into town for a few days before the event. So
Okay.
I will be there. So like I said, it's 45 minutes from it's only 45 minutes from my house in Winter Garden to Cocoa Beach to Cape
Perfect.
Canaveral.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep. Yes, that's so cool. Yeah, we'll figure it out for sure. Yes, I'm down. I'm coming. We're going to do
Oh
it.
yeah, it'll be awesome. Yeah, awesome.
That's so cool. Wow, what kind of timing is that, right?
Yeah, that's awesome, man. It's going to be a cool event, man. We got one, and there's another one. There's another event in Orlando, January. It's a Saturday, 11th or 12th. I don't know the date. I don't want to say the date wrong. Hold on, it's the 12th of January. Is it Saturday? Do you know? Hold on, I'll look right now.
Mm-mm.
January 11th. January 11th. It's in Claremont. Warpath's having uh, they're having a big event down there in Claremont, Florida. So January
Nice.
11th. I don't know. So I have to get the time for that. But if you guys are on here, you guys can follow me at TikTok sober. Everything sober swaggy. If y'all just Google the word sober swaggy, you'll find my life story, how it all started with the wristbands and all the podcasts I've been on. Is pretty cool. My Facebook is Jody Matthews with one T. And then Instagram is sober as swaggy, but that's how you guys can follow or share. And if you guys, if I'll find out probably tomorrow maybe about the Cheer Choice Awards. And if we make it to the next round, man, you guys y'all keep voting for old sober swaggy,
Yes.
motivational, inspirational stuff. It's pretty cool to be nominated for the Cheer Choice Awards this year.
That was super
Appreciate all the
exciting. I
votes.
know I
Anyone that's voted
voted.
for me, yeah, that was super cool.
Yes.
Yeah, so you guys vote. I'll find out tomorrow if we carry on, and if we do, they start back the 5th through the 10th this year. So, like I said, man, Jamie, great to let me come on your show tonight. An amazing little thing. I would love to anything I can do to what you got going on. Just let me know.
Okay.
It'd be super cool to come back and we'll do this again.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, we're gonna get off here, end the stream. You guys make sure you follow Jody Matthews and Sober is Swaggy, and that's your Sober is Swaggy is on both, is on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok.
All of them, all
Okay,
of them. My website soberswaggy.org and everything. Just type in the word sober is swaggy and hit enter, and you can go to everything.
perfect, awesome, awesome.